Well, welcome to Code with Eto, and we are going to do a lot on this program, this particular page, and we are going to focus on how to use Excel to develop our applications. Excel can be used for a lot of things: data analysis, anything you can think about. Excel is a very, very powerful tool, but we will focus on how we can use Excel, which is at our disposal to develop softwares or small applications. Yes. Excel is just like any other platforms that has tools, and it is these tools that are used in developing these applications. So Excel has a lot of tools in them. So you master these tools, and then you use it to develop the applications or the softwares you want to use. So first you need to have the concept of what you want to do. Yes, and then you see how best Excel can help you achieve that. But before I take you through to some of these, the interfaces and part of Excel, which the particular part of Excel that we will be using, I will show you some of the programs that we use Excel to develop over the years. So this is a school management system that we use Excel for. It's a complete school management system. This is being done by a friend. So this is what Excel is used for: complete school management system, and right from the registration of students to statistics of students. You can search for a staff here. The name gives you all the details in Excel. So this is Excel. People statistics, people search. So you can search by index number. The picture changes, the details also changes. So this is what we'll be using Excel for. I will be taking you through how to use Excel to do. So we also have this program. This is staff attendance that Excel is used for. So you can also use this something like this: staff attendance for Excel. This purely Excel. We also have CGPA calculator. So if you're in school and then you quickly want to know your CGPA before the end of the semester, you can use this. So this is all done using Excel. It's all done using Excel. So this is all done using Excel. We also have this. Yes, so the paid dues. You use Excel to do the recording. So Excel is more of a database. Yes, so it gives you the summary, the number of people that paid, and all those stuff. All these are done using Excel. So basically, this is what we'll be doing. And we also have electronic text. This is also done using Excel. So you set the questions, and this gives you the direction how to use it. Later, whoever will be taking the text, and then they enter their password, and then they start taking the test. Yes, so at the end of it, the test is being marked, and then you know your results. This is also done using Excel. And then also we have this depth test management system. Yes, so we'll be doing something like this. We're working on there will be a project on this for us. We're working on this project as well. I'll take you through how to make it. So one thing about programming is that once you understand the concept, you can use any platform for it. So the concept is very, very important. The idea behind whatever software you want to do. So the idea, the concept, how does it work? How will it go? Once you understand, once you have a stable ground on that, you can use any platform to do whatever you want to do. So this is also a SUSU collection system. Yes. So with this, also you search once you search a user, the picture changes, the names, and then the details also changes for you. It also tells you the amount of contribution the person wants to pay. So we'll be using Excel for all these things, and yes, I'll take you through them. Just follow the channel, share the link with people, and then you understand how this works. So basically, this is what we're doing in Excel: developing systems, softwares using Excel. So without wasting time, let me just take us through the interface in Excel. So what you are seeing now is a Rubin, where the mouse is rotating. All these are called the Rubin bar. Yes, the Rubin bar. These are all Rubin tabs. Rubin tabs. So this is where all the tools in Excel are. So you need to. I know some of us are going to be familiar with most of them, but there are some that we'll use. We use most of the tools here. Yes. So these are the toolbar. So what you are seeing currently, this white streaks, this is the sheet in Excel, like a book. This is the sheet in Excel. So Excel is just like a book. So that is why they call it a workbook. And every book has a sheet. So this is a worksheet. Okay. So what you are seeing now, when you open an Excel, you open a workbook. And each of these workbook has their various sheets in it. And you can keep adding a lot of sheets, You can add a lot of sheets to it. Yes. Now, each of these sheets you are seeing here has cells. So all the boxes you are seeing here are called cells. All these small boxes, these rectangular boxes are called cells. Yes, so they are all on each of these sheets. So any sheet you open, you realize that you have these boxes and they are called cells. Yes, they are all called cells. Now, on each of these cells, we have active cells and then dead cells or inactive cells. So inactive cells are the light gray ones that you are seeing. They are inactive because you can't do anything on them. And the thick green one that you are seeing now, the thick green one is called an active cell. So in order to work on a sheet, you can only work in an active cell. So if you have a section that you want to work with or a particular cell that you want to work in, you need to go there and then you tap on it, you activate it, and then you use it. You type whatever you want to type in it. Yes. So once you also start typing in this particular, in the active cell, you realize that the Rubin bar, the Rubin tab become inactive. It means that you are performing a calculation or you are typing something or you are working in an active cell. So you can no more use any of the Rubin tabs, any of the tabs in the Rubin. You can't use any until you press enter for it to. It means that you have finished whatever you are doing, so the Rubins can be activated again. So that is how it works. Now, each of these cells that you are seeing has a name. They all have their names. Someone will be thinking, so which one is Kofi? Which one is Ama? Which one is Etonam? No, please, not that name. They all have their unique names. And before then, all the alphabet you are seeing, the ABCDs you are seeing in Excel are called column. So the A, column B, column C, column D, column E, column F. We have it way, very, very long. Very, very long. So all the alphabets, the ABCDs you are seeing are called columns. And then the rows, the numbers you are seeing are called rows. All these 1, 2, 3, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5 is way down. We have it down. All the numbers are called rows. Now, what is the name? How are the names given? When a column and then a row intersect, gives birth to the name of that particular cell. So when you are here, where C and row 3 meet, becomes the name of that particular cell. And you can see this in the name box. So what you are seeing here is the name box. So where a column and then a row meet, gives the name of the cell. So if you are here, it gives the name cell F6. If you are here, it gives the name cell E8. So each of these cells have their names. Each one. So if you are here, it gives the cell AV7. As you can see here, cell AV7. So all the cells in Excel have a name. Now, one of these balls is called a cell. But when you should right click and then drag down, selecting more than one of the cells is called a range. So if you click, you right click, hold, and then you drag down, you are selecting a range. It's no more a cell, it is a range. If it is one, it is a cell. So more than one cell is called a range. So if you have two, it's called a range. If you have 1,000, it's called a range. So more than one cell is called a range. And we'll be using that a lot. Now, you can also, with regards to the naming, you can also give the name, you can also customize the name. So say cell A1, you don't like cell A1, you can name it Etor, A-T-O-R. If you don't like cell C1, you can name it Ama. Cell A3, you can name it Lambert. So you can name any of the cells. You can customize any of the cells to your name. Yes, so same way, you can also name a range. So you can select more than a cell and then name it. So let me select from B1 to B3. So you can name it, let me say ranks. Okay, so the next thing is the cases. So Excel has 3 cases in a particular cell. So when a cell is active, it has 3 cases. The tick one you are seeing, the arrowhead, and then the fill handler. They all have their uses. Now with this tick one, it's used for selecting other cells, the inactive cells, for activating other cells. So selecting a range, for selecting, let me just say for selecting, yes. And then with this particular one, the arrowhead one, is used for moving, for cutting and pasting. So we're using for moving items from one cell to another cell. And then the last one, which is this, is used for, which is the fill handler, is used for filling, the range or other cells. So if you have an item here that you want to fill, you can type this and then use this. So it's called a fill handler. Use a fill handler to just duplicate. Now if you have 1, 2, 3, and you cannot continue typing, you just select and then use the fill handler. That's it for you. And I can move this to this. When you have month, let's say you have January, you can't continue typing, you can just use this. It does it for you. You use the fill handler. You double click it or you drag it. It does it for you. If you want to select the whole cells or activate the whole cells, you click on this corner and then you do whatever you want to do. You can use it to change the font, increase the font, the alignment, whatever you want to do. So you can also use to paint. You can use to paint the whole sheet as well. Yes, so you can also delete as well. So that is it with the cursor. Now we also have this cursor between each of the columns. We have this cursor. Now this cursor is used for expanding. So if you have this, you want to expand a particular column, you can use this to expand a particular column. You just move it between and then use it to expand. And also we have the same way it works with the rows as well. So you can select a particular row and then use it on it. So between these you can expand this. And this particular one is used for selecting a row. Yes, so selecting a row. So I think that is it with the cases, and then also the naming. So you can, when you select here, like I said, you can see the names that you have given to a particular cell also. And so you can also name a sheet, and then you color it as well. You just right click, or you just double tap, delete, and then name it the way you want. You can also right click to see what you can do to it. You can color it, you can rename it, and then you can also delete or insert. You can also hide it as well. So we'll be using all this as we go along. You understand? You take a project, work on a project, how to combine everything in it. Everything I've said, and then you learn more as well. So I would like to go, let me just an overview of one or two things, and then we call it a day for now. So in Excel, when you want to, Excel works with functions, these formulas, let me say formulas or functions. So this function, Excel works with all these functions a lot. There are a lot of them that I can't speak on. All of them have what they do. I will be focusing on specific ones. So if you want to call a function in Excel, what you do is to press an equal to. So the moment you press the equal to sign, Excel knows that you want to perform a calculation or you want to use a function. So equal to, or you want to perform a calculation or work with a function. So equal to 1 plus this. Sorry, it's giving me an error. So you can use 1 plus this. It gives you 2. And then you can also use the minus sign. You can also use the minus sign to do this plus 2. Okay, you can also you can call the Excel function using the minus sign. Yes, so there are two ways to call a function in Excel. It's either you use an equal to. We have come to the end of the overview. I hope you have an idea of what we intend to do and intend to teach. So in the next video, we are going to learn certain few things, and then we'll start the programming. Thank you for watching.